We talked a little bit this morning about from on one end of the spectrum, you got never Trumpers. On the other end, always Trumpers. I don't think there's any rationale to being a never Trumper. I don't think there's much to being an always Trumper. I would refer to myself as a most time Trumper. But when you look at the political orbit today and you sense, if you're a Republican, you feel that Trump is being unfairly gone after. There's a real technical way of explaining it. And you want retribution. You want revenge. You want to settle that score. Some Democrats do. Other Democrats are more reserved and, I guess out of respect to the sanctity of the process, Rev, are a little more calculating in what to do in response to how you believe the former president, current frontrunner of the GOP, is being, and I'll use the word, persecuted politically. Political strategist, commentator, Young Voices, Elizabeth Grace Matthew is with us. Miss Matthew, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So explain to us from your perspective. You're a political strategist. Should the House Republicans aggressively pursue Biden impeachment inquiry, or should they be more hesitant and incremental?
Yeah, I think you've heard things on both sides, right? And folks can kind of listen to both of those and see where you come down. I think folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy, they're saying they're going to pursue an impeachment inquiry soon and with vigor. And then you have other people saying, some of the Congress people and Senate Republicans saying that they don't think it's a good idea to go down that path at this time. Now, Article 2 of the Constitution is what gives grounds for the Senate to remove a federal officer for high crimes and misdemeanors or bribery. And then Article 1 is what gives the House the sole power to bring charges against a federal officer. And the Constitution actually offers no specific guidelines on rules for impeachment inquiries. So the House can do an impeachment inquiry without an initial resolution, which is what I think we'll be talking about here. And so people have differences of opinion about whether or not that would be wise at this time.
A lot of people believe an impeachment inquiry is the only way to get to the truth, that the DOJ is stonewalling, that they won't answer questions, they won't provide certain communique. And I personally think that may be the impetus that brings some of the more reserved members of the House on board, that if we're going to get to the bottom of, we don't have any concrete evidence, but we got a lot of circumstantial evidence that leads us to believe Joe Biden has not been completely and totally honest with the American people. How does this play into the presidential campaign? Obviously Donald Trump has 4 indictments. He'll be in a courtroom in the morning giving campaign speeches in the afternoon, it looks like. But as it relates to Joe Biden, how do you suspect an impeachment inquiry would affect his run for re-election?
Well, I think it's hard to say because we're still 15 months out, right, from the general election. But one of the things I think is really interesting, just in terms of background here, is that you have the vast majority of the American people do not want a rematch between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And yet it looks like that's where we're headed. And we could be headed there with 2 presidents who faced impeachment, which, to be, again, put this in historical context, there have been only 4 impeachments in the history of the country. This would be a 5th. And so it definitely creates I think, uncharted territory going into a general election.
As a political strategist, last question, what do you make of the indictments leading to a higher level of support amongst Republican primary voters of Donald Trump? What are we to make of that?
Yeah, I think our country is really politically polarized right now, right, in terms of, red team, blue team. And I think that anything that looks like one or the other team is unfairly or unduly attacking someone on your team is going to lead you to cling all the tighter to your own team. And so I think that given the way that social media now controls so much of our political discourse, and given the level of polarization we have and how that's manifested on social media, it really creates this tribal imperative for people to feel all the more close to their own political, the people they support politically when those people are under attack.
Very well explained. Thank you for your time.